I'm Justin Boyd.
I'm Brittany Pacheco.
I'm Franklin Cooper.
I am Tristan Jones.
And we are the Watchers in the Basement.
Welcome to the Watchers in the Basement. We are here today to discuss Season 5, Episode 7 of The Boys, the penultimate episode of the series. Episode's titled The Frenchman, The Female, and The Man Called Mother's Milk. Thought it was a pretty appropriate title given what happens in the episode. But start us off, Brittany. What'd you think about this episode?
In terms of penultimates, didn't quite land with me. Sorry. This is just truth at this point. This particular episode for me just kind of dragged, sadly. I mean, given the title of said episode, I thought everyone was going to be murked in this episode. The Frenchman, the female, and the man known as Mother's Milk, right? It just kind of kept setting it up, perhaps, that was the direction we're going. And when you consider the events of how the season has gone thus far, pretty much every person, every main character to a degree has been eliminated, right? And although I did feel something with the death that did occur, I just don't know. I don't know. I don't know if it was just being rushed, if it was just not well thought out. It's hard to pinpoint it at this point, but I'm sure talking with my fellow watchers we'll get to it. But overall, it was just a meh kind of episode for me. I'm not quite sure if it really progressed a whole heck of a lot. I think the importance of having the V1 just kind of is lost now. I don't know. I could say that it could be too early to say that at this point, because obviously we have the series finale this week. Maybe it'll actually pay off at some point. Maybe it won't. I don't know. I just don't know what direction we are going in with this storyline. Those are my quick thoughts. Tristan, I'm gonna toss it to you.
I feel the same. I feel like the show has kind of had to make some narrative choices, like V1 versus the virus. Like, whether to kill off certain, characters. How much Soldier Boy are we gonna have? I know he won't be in the finale according to reports, but like, I feel like we talked about this last week. I feel like we got too much of Soldier Boy in the first place, and to go from that to like he has no role in the series finale is kind of odd. The Gen V kind of like, hey, here's some spot minutes, come in the last 2 minutes of the half and do some shit. But you won't actually be that important to like the overall, the finish of this series. Again, it's just odd. Like episode 7 was a microcosm of the season as a whole, where like, yeah, there's some moments that you think about that might resonate and might stick with you, but overall, it's just like Brittany said, it's just meh. It's just like, okay, it's kind of dragging along. I hate invoking these names, but like it's giving me like season 8 Game of Thrones. We're just trying to rush to the finish. You know what I'm saying? To where like there's just so many things that just kind of get left by the wayside, which we'll talk about. But ultimately, this is a show that is regardless. There's a floor of excitement. Like you're not gonna be bored by The Boys. You're not gonna watch it like, damn, when is this episode going to end? But like once it ends, it's like a Drake album, man. It's like you listen to it, it's like, hey, there's some things I like about it, but when it's over, it's like, okay, I kind of go about my day. It's nothing that kind of sticks to the soul, like some of our favorite shows. And that's just kind of where we're at with this season, with the show. Honestly, the last 2 seasons, but like you really feel it in this season 5 a lot. So I thought it was a solid episode overall. Rewatched it this morning and realized how much stuff I didn't remember from like watching it on Wednesday. And like, that's a bad sign. I should remember some things. And it just doesn't resonate the same way. But like I said, it's only going to be so boring. It has a higher floor than most ceilings, most shows, but the ceiling is lower. So that's where I'm at with The Boys.
Frank, what'd you think about the penultimate episode 7 of season 5?
I agree with everything that Brittany and Tristan said. But the one caveat is I'm bored with the show. I'm very bored with the show. I if anything that I can get from the boys that I knew was going to be there for me, that the boys are always going to be exciting as far as fighting scenes, violence, and like what the fuck moments. And if the writer's going to suffer the way it's suffering, at least entertain me. Meaning, give me some showdown fight scenes. This is a universe, a world full of superheroes who have uncanny abilities and can kill people in an array of ways. And for the last 2 episodes, to have an anticlimactic showdown with Black Noir 2.0 and the Deep, and then have an anticlimactic showdown with Soldier Boy and Homelander, and not get what the boys have historically given us, which is like great fight scenes and great action scenes. If you're not gonna give me good story writing, at least give me that. If you're not giving me that, why the fuck am I even here? And that's my problem with the show, is that you're getting away from like the things that made the show popular in the first place. And I don't want to hear that, oh, well, Soldier Boy didn't want to fight his son. I don't want to hear all that, because you didn't do a good job of either storyboarding the conflict between those two people and storyboarding, major plot lines between characters. So if you're not gonna do that, just give me some fighting. And if I'm not getting that, then I don't know why I'm even here. Like it's gonna be impossible to wrap up all these storylines in this last episode and for it to make sense, or for it to be somewhat satisfying. Like they've picked themselves into a wall now of like, well, this is undone, and this has incomplete sentences, and this has an incomplete storyline. Well, here we're gonna try and make all this tie up and give you a shebang bang of a series finale, not a season finale, a series finale. Like there's no more boys after this, as far as like this main timeline. And I've just been very supremely disappointed on how they've just kind of just rushed. They David Benioff and Weiss this bitch these last 7 episodes, and it's very disappointing.
So I'm going to be on the other side of this from y'all, because I thought this was a good episode. I thought this was another great episode of The Boys. And for me, this is one of the biggest episodes of the series, because the show is called The Boys. And for the first time in series history, one of the boys died. Like, that's a big moment in the show. And I think that like the writing has actually been pretty good. If you go back and watch and really kind of pay attention to everything, it's all kind of falling into place. Like Homelander is this character who believes he's God. It's not about like, yes, he can kill everyone. He has the power to destroy basically everyone. He wants to be loved. We've known that from like the first season. He wanted to be loved from his like father figure type people to the people he works with. This is now he's literally being put up as a god, and it's the boy's job, specifically Butcher. It's his task to take this guy down. And it's honestly that simple. Like it's not. And as far as like the other characters, like Soldier Boy, he's not gonna be in the finale. I didn't think he's gonna be in the finale. The way he ended up in this show where he was like back into stasis, back on ice. That's what I thought would happen. He's going to be in this Vought Rising show, which with this Vought Rising show, who knows? It may be a prequel series, but he may wake up in present day, much like Captain America: First Avenger. I mean, I definitely see that happening. That could definitely happen. I don't think everyone's going to die, but by the way, we've lost 4 main characters this season. Like, and we still have, this show is primarily the boys versus the soups. Take away the other characters. No one else matters. The Gen V people, yeah, they were thrown in. I mean, did you want more of them? I really didn't want more of them. Like, I watched both seasons of the show. It was a fine show the first season. I don't really need a whole nother, like, I don't need the JV to come in to save the varsity. You know what I'm saying? So like that's okay if they're out of it. Really, it all comes down to Butcher's crew and Homelander and his crew, which is dwindling to now where all he has is the Deep, who's not really even a part of the 7 because the 7 are no more. And this father guy who is his like religious mouthpiece. And that's pretty much it. And again, I think the title of this episode also really highlighted like the importance of this episode. You have the Frenchman. Frenchie dies, right? You have the female. She is sacrificing herself to become the weapon that can basically do what Soldier Boy wouldn't do, which is take away Homelander's powers, right? And we're going to see her do that, obviously, in the finale. And then The Man Called Mother's Milk, where we all season we saw a very jaded, a very like who gives a shit kind of MM. In this episode, he talks about the origin of his name, Mother's Milk, about how he saved this bird when he was a kid. Kids made fun of him, but he enjoyed doing that. And he's saying, like, like in a world that, doesn't, it's easy to be someone, if it's easy in the world that doesn't give a fuck to not give a fuck, right? But like, if you're the opposite, that's what's tough, and it's kind of like the Superman thing in the James Gunn movie, where it's like Superman is punk rock because in a world full of cruelty, if you're kind, you do stand out. You are counterculture. That's exactly what he was saying here with MM. So we brought him back to who he was. We put Kimiko in a chance where she's going to be like kind of the hero of the show in a lot of ways. And we killed off one of the main characters. So like, I feel like this was like a pretty strong penultimate episode going into the finale.
But even with this main character sorry, Brady. Even with
I was
this
just
main
going to say.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'll let you go and then I'll go. Tag, you're it.
All right. Even with this main character that died in this episode, he died off screen. I had to go and read like what they said is that what Homelander pretty much did that they didn't show on camera is that he took his finger and just slid across his stomach and opened him up. They didn't even show that on screen. Like, this is supposed to be a show that's based on gratuitous violence and superhero shit, and you don't even show that. You don't even show that. That to me would have been more storytelling of how wicked Homelander is to show his disdain towards the boys. You don't even show that. And then to my second point with Gen V, you spend the better part of 2 seasons of pretty much setting up this character Moreau, who's supposed to be this all-powerful soup who robbed Homelander. It could be I know it's pre the V1 that Homelander took, but you propped her up to be this one or two projects that survived at Project Odessa. To me, that's big. And for her to get spot minutes in this episode, if you want to say fuck all the other Gen V characters, cool. But you spent the better part of 2 seasons of saying this woman is as powerful as Homelander, and only get like 3 minutes of her in season 5 is ridiculous to me.
I mean, she didn't have to be in season 5 at all, honestly. Like, none of them did. Like, it's a spinoff show. And also they do mention that in the show that she doesn't have control of those powers. So like, I mean, how good is she if she kills everybody else while she's trying to save the day? You know what I mean? So like, it's not a well-defined character.
But then why have the boys' characters, i.e. Annie, be in Gen V, if not to recruit her for the cause, which is what we're seeing unfold in this season, if Marie was not going to have some kind of significant role in the cause? Like, why even throw in...
I mean, Gen V is a spinoff of the boys, so that's why they had boys.
But they made it to where it intersected with each other. Whatever happened in Gen V was going to impact what happened in the next season of the boys, and back and forth. But why even do that? Why even do that if that is ultimately potentially not going to pay off? Because Eric Kripke has come out multiple times, unless this is just misdirection, to say that Marie is not going to be the one to end Homelander. So why even create a character who could potentially rival Homelander with this whole Project Odessa thing and not pay off? Why even have these storylines if they're not going to pay off?
Well, I think the show was going to go another season and it got canceled. So that is also part of it. I don't think that, in fact, we're not going to see the Gen V characters again. I don't think so in the finale. So
fair. But again, Gen V season 2 was meant to feed into the boys, what's now the series finale, and it really hasn't quite paid off. That's
it did feed into it. It just did not resolve. It wasn't the be all end all answer to the equation. It was a part of the episode, part of the season. It just wasn't what you're looking for, I guess.
Okay, Justin, whatever.
Tristan, your turn. Let's go. I'll check the ball. Go ahead.
I mean, I get the Gen V part. Again, I still haven't seen season 2, so I bow out of those.
You're good. You're fine.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter anymore.
Well, okay, that's a good example. Like, why would you want those characters if you didn't like the season?
Well,
why it's not that we didn't like the season. It's just that now it's not paying off.
Like,
Yeah, I left Gen V season 1 believing that that she would have a larger role
right.
in the ending of the series. Like that was what was sold. You know, the fact that it didn't happen honestly is lower on my list of grievances about the season. Like I have to remember the Gen V part because I again didn't watch season 2 yet. But it's just I understand. Like I agree that a lot of the pieces are falling into place in different ways for the show. What I think definitely what Frank is saying, what I'm kind of saying, and I think Brittany is also saying, is it's just not fun. It's just not fun enough. You know, so like it's possible for the writing to be better than it's given credit for. And I've seen all kind of criticism about the writing in different places. It's possible for the writing to be better. It's possible that the story is kind of playing out how the writers wanted it to play out. It's just like, is it effective? Is it something that resonates? Is it something that like, man, like if I take something from this episode, it's like, hey, 5 years from now, man, remember episode 7 of season 5, man, like when this happened, there's just nothing there that kind of is sticking out for me personally. Like I'm watching and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like, okay, cool. Oh man, they got into Vought undetected again. Wow, that's they must be really good at this. You know, like it's these little details and stuff that are keeping the very logical events of the show to be like moments, and that's what's missing to me in this episode and this season. It's like moments. When I think back on this season, I see like a through line of like the writing and the story. What I'm not getting is a lot of moments, things that make me sit up, things that like keep me on edge, like the boys was, you know, known to do, like what they were genius at. And I'm just not getting that. Like, yeah, is it good? Sure, but like it's in the era that we are now with television and just media in general, with the music we listen to, the games we watch, like man, like something just being good isn't good enough. Like you have to like resonate with the audience, and I don't feel resonated with. I just feel like, hey, I'm watching a show that I've been watching for so long. I have an attachment to these characters. I want to see this thing through. There are moments that are good, they're very good. There's some scenes that are very good. There's some fight scenes that are very good. But there's a lot of head scratching things. Like, man, we spent 5 minutes watching two characters sniff each other's butts. Like that, you could have took that time out and showed Frenchie fucking dying. You know what I'm saying? Like that, those are the things that like, man, like, okay, did we really need that? That's where I feel like the show there's a slight decrease and decline in just the quality of these scenes and the writing. Outside of it just being like effective, cool. Like it's effective. Does it make you feel something? I haven't gotten that in a while, honestly.
Yeah, I think one thing about the show, I wouldn't say that this season's my favorite. I don't think season 4 was either, but I do think that all in all, like these episodes have all been the boys kind of episodes. You know, like to me, it's been a consistent kind of type of show. Like it's the same kind of jokes. I still think all the like cultural, the social commentary, the pop culture commentary, the parody stuff is very well done. Like if you kind of get all the references and listen to everything they say, I think that stuff is very well added. You know, does the show maybe have too many characters? Probably so. That's probably been a problem that, you know, as you're going down the road with these seasons, you're adding all these characters, and are you able to service all of them? No, I don't think you can ever do that. I don't expect them. Like, I think the finale will probably be pretty good, but I don't expect every single storyline to be wrapped up because I don't think every character is going to die in this world. And I don't know that that means the end of these characters because, like I said, Vought Rising may start out in the 1940s and may pick up in 2027 or something. Who knows? So we may see, you know, Huey and Starlight or somebody come back. I have no idea. I do think that Butcher and Homelander won't make it to that show. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot to unpack with that. Let's hit some of the moments of the episode. We talked about some of them already, but I did want to point out I enjoyed the opening like musical number again. Great social commentary. I love with Oh Father singing. You know, he's preparing this Homelander, you know, becomes God deal. He's got a band, he's got a choir, he's got these angel dancers, and he talks about you know, one of the lines is y'all been praying for God's rebirth. and we just rebooted the universe. I like the idea that Homelander is rebooting the Seven, rebooting the universe again. Great, like pop culture, great, like superhero kind of lingo to add to the show where, obviously DC just had a reboot. Who knows if Marvel's going to reboot after Secret Wars. So I did enjoy that kind of stuff. And I thought the song was pretty strong. Brittany, thoughts on the "Oh Father" opening?
Oh yeah, I mean, for a while, once I realized that David Diggs was going to be in this season, I'm like, oh, cool. Like, I really haven't seen much of him since like Hamilton. Obviously, Hamilton was huge for what it was, especially for us during COVID, and he was wonderful as Lafayette and Thomas Jefferson. And the fact that I learned recently that David had actually broke his no musical trend for this show, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like, that's pretty impactful, I would think, being that his character is that of a preacher type, and that's how one engages with their congregation is through music, of course. And so that I thought that was fitting. That really fit his character, the cause of trying to get people to convert and to accept Homelander as God. So that was well done. And then I mean, I'm a musical person, so to me that was fine. Like I enjoyed that. To see the other side of it too, it's like, oh, that was wonderful, that was great. No, it was shit. Like Angel Number 6, like you were late. Like, and I'm like, that seems legit when it comes down to production. So yeah, that was kind of funny, honestly. I did enjoy the opening for sure.
And then we get Homelander, where we kind of see his powers kind of run amok, where I'll just tick off all the things he does. He decides that the Democratic Church of America is going to be the official national religion based on him being the one true God. He wants every boundary between church and state dissolved. He wants troops sent into sanctuary cities that took in Starlighters. He issues an executive order banning abortion, and breastfeeding is now mandatory. Nut milk is banned because the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was making you think nuts were milk. He disbands Congress. He has Ashley read the mind of the president to reveal that he is not a believer in Homelander. He crushes the president's head right there in the Oval Office. And then later on, he also abolishes the Seven, which kind of sends the deep spiraling a little bit. Frank, what'd you think about that Homelander? He has a bunch of action items, and he's kind of taking them off pretty quickly there.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely on brand for this season of like what he's trying to accomplish and what he's trying to do to be the almighty go-to savior, all attention on me. I think that scene was built to be ridiculous. I mean, that's what Homelander is right now. Like everything is about him. And so that I think that scene was very needed to showcase how far off the reservation he really is now. To where you want to legalize tree milk, and I mean that was funny. It's funny for sure. Yeah, I mean it was on brand. I must admit.
And then with go ahead, Tristan.
I was gonna say the biggest thing I feel like we see from Homelander is like, man, he's still a child, and obviously we see it through like these impulsive, demands that he gives to Ashley by disbanding essentially any body that could challenge him in any type of way, and then do gods need focus groups? Question for the panel. If you're a god,
well, if you're seeking approval, though, he's seeking approval from people. That's
the childlike part of it, and I think also like that's also what makes Homelander so inherently dangerous. Is that he has all the power in the world. He's literally the most powerful being in the universe, but like he also has the mind of a 12-year-old, and that like it's impulsiveness on the hardest brand of steroids that you could possibly find. He's an imminent threat to everybody. As soon as he walks in a room, if he's in your town, everybody's a threat. Like he can just decide hey, I'm the man of the house now. You leave. Like, and what do? Like everybody's just continuously on edge. The president, went from making him drinks in previous episodes to like just completely like head crushed because you're not even allowed to have freedom of thought. You know, like that's a wild thing. And I think if there's one thing that, again, I continue to take away from each episode, it's, again, the imminent threat of just Homelander, just him, his ability to read minds, to see through things. And like, you're just never safe at any point. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's interesting to me because it goes into his psyche on what he thinks like a god actually does, right? Like, for him, a god is just an extension of what he already was, which is all powerful. I can control everything the way I wanted to. And I no longer have I no longer live under this facade that I have to listen to other people and accept their opinions and collaborate, you know, like, or compromise. And like, the world, like, this is like the ultimate result of just the initial idea of having soups as a whole. Like, this is something that they should have thought about whenever the fuck, 1920s, 30s, whenever this started, whenever Vought started. It's like, what is the logical ending of this? Like, how does this end? We put soups in the military because we want to make sure that we are ahead of the curve of other countries. You know, we put soups in our police force. All these things. Like, we are taking these threats and then making them even worse. And the only people that can hurt it are us. First, it was us as a country, United States, but now this is something that affects the entire world. So, yeah, I think that the entire world should be invested in the death of Homelander, right? Even if it costs every suit, in the universe, even if some people who, in power, if it costs them too, because Homelander represents the ending of the world in general, because anybody that can challenge him is gone. And what happens when everybody challenges him? What happens when he can read everybody's thoughts and they're like, no, I can't believe in this dude.
1984 is alive and well, everyone.
It's just a classic example of how stupid humans are in the hubris that they possess. Like they went through this shit with Soulja Boy, and the hubris of the government and the people who created this Vought machine was, you know what? This was a bad product of Soulja Boy. Let's procreate and make another version that's even better than Soulja Boy. And now this version is not Homelander. And like Stan Edgar said, the Mother's Milk, I think it was episode 4. He's like, you're fighting a never-ending battle. All the history of the world, big corporation, big pharma, when something goes awry, all they're going to do is try to, the hubris of them is my goal is, okay, this went awry. Let's make a bigger and better version of this one. When this fucks up, we'll make a bigger and better version of the previous version. And that's all Vought is. That's all big corporations are. They recognize the fuck up and try to fix the fuck up by making a bigger fuck up. And it's an ongoing thing.
Yeah, I agree with that. One of the things Brittany wanted to ask you about was Homelander, as I mentioned before, he crushed the president's skull, making Ashley now the president. And she seems like she's pretty okay with that. She's pretty excited to be like, hey, I wish the kids back in school who, I lost every election or whatever could see me now. And then she's kind of has a little fight there with Bashley, the back of her head, who now swears to will never hear from her again. I guess give me your thoughts on that scene, but also she's got to die, right? Or she's not making it out of the finale, right, Ashley?
Yeah, I mean, good for you for climbing to the top, whether you rightfully deserved it or not. Enjoy your 15 minutes while you still have it before the whole world goes sideways, or Homelander takes you out for reasons because he's God, right? He decides who lives, who dies, right? He obviously has said as much with Sage because she's on the run. He used her and she double-crossed him, and obviously she's not a favorite. So for Ashley, that could be very much her outcome as well. But the internal conflict that Ashley has with Bashley, where Bashley seems to have like a conscious, like a true conscious, right? She is the psychic side of Ashley. for her to basically say, this is a new low, even for you. You know, you're in a position of power, but this is a new low. I'm never going to speak to you again, and it's going to be lonely. And yeah, I think Ashley probably in the last couple of seconds of her scene before it cut away probably has realized very quickly it will be lonely. Yes, she's got Oh Father, but Oh Father is in deep with trying to promote Homelander and the church and all this other stuff. He gonna die too. Let's just be real. The whole lot of them are gonna die. Okay, whether Ashley tries to be the better person, we heard her talk about how her mother was, and you know, she tried to do good in the world, but no one listened, and this and that, what have you. Okay, but you know, tough shit. Like life sucks. Yeah, I mean, we all know that. And you know, you didn't rightfully earn your way to the top. Who's really you don't even matter at this point. You don't even matter as president, the first, presumably the first female president of the United States, right? It doesn't matter because Homelander's God. If the focus shifts from him, you're dead. So
Yeah, exactly.
R.I.P. Ashley and Bashley. I maybe Bashley will make it to Sage's bunker in Colorado. Ashley probably will not, but let's just be real. Everybody gonna die.
I just feel like she deserves that. I feel like the rest of the remaining soups, which, you know, the Deep, we'll talk about him in a second. Oh Father, of course, Homelander. But if you think about this season, we've had 3 soups die with Black Noir, A-Train, and Firecracker. All 3 died at the hands of soups, 2 of them to Homelander. It just feels like they're not going to make it. Tristan, your thoughts on the Ashley / Bashley situation, and maybe what do you see for her fate?
There have been times where I felt bad for Ashley because you can clearly see that, like, she's conflicted by the need to upwardly mobilize, to prove people wrong, like all these human selfish desires. But you can also see like there's a moral part of her that's dying at the same time as she pursues these ambitions. The only way that she can like really have a moral reckoning is through death. I don't think there's a scenario where she challenges Homelander, where she speaks up, where she like does anything to like compromise his ambition of being like seen as this god like figure to everyone without dying. Like this is literally nothing. And all of the people that you mentioned, Oh Father, the Deep, whoever, like Homelander is a disease, man. Like the closer you get to him, the more you feel like, hey, in order for my survival, I have to kiss up to him. I have to like, you know, do his bidding. The closer you get to your own grave. We talked about that last week. Like he is literally a disease, and it's infecting people who are already diseased by selfishness, by lust, by greed, by all these things that make soups so dangerous, right? Like these are not altruistic figures that we have here. Like these are deeply flawed beings who have, you know, these unlimited powers for the most part, but they don't have the moral center that like can like guide those powers towards like good. Like I don't even think it's possible, you know, like in the minute they do, they put themselves in harm's way. So with Ashley, I think in the finale, either she, like you said, like she comes to like a fork in the road. She was like, hey, I need to completely go left, maybe join in with the boys or do something, speak out in front of the whole country to get people riled up. I don't even know what good that's going to do. But again, every step she takes, whether she takes steps closer towards Homelander or away, is going to end in her death. Right? That's just the tragedy of it all. But like she put herself in that position from the jump. She had so many opportunities throughout these seasons to get out.
Yeah.
Like she saw what was happening. She saw Homelander amassing more power as time went on. She saw him getting rid of authority figures and being less able to control, to the point where he just snapped and was like, I don't really have to like listen to none of y'all. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. There were so many opportunities where she could have listened to the angel on the right shoulder instead of the one that said, hey, we can get more power. You know, if I get close to Homelander, I can get more power. Well, congratulations. Now you're at a point now where you can't detach from him without him detaching your head from your shoulders. And
Yeah.
Sucks to be you.
Yeah, there's no redemption for Ashley, but like as you said, she's had so many chances over the seasons, but every time she didn't say something, she gained more power. She kept moving up the ladder. Now she's the president. And you're right. I don't see how. I mean, I think she deserves to die. She does not deserve to have any kind of redemption whatsoever. On the same lines, Frank, I want to get your thoughts on the Deep, because in this episode, he finds out that the seven are no more. Homelander's disbanded them. Homelander even mentions like, hey, like it's kind of a joke because we haven't had seven members in a while. So we're getting rid of the seven. The Deep is like now he's like a lost cause. And but Homelander, same thing for Firecracker, where he told her like, hey, see you later, best of luck in your future endeavors kind of deal. He tells the Deep like, hey, good luck, whatever. The Deep makes that plea to like, no, come on, man. Like, give me the seven. Let me run it. And it's like Homelander let him live for this episode. But what do you see in the Deep's future?
Real quick, Frank, before you go, I have my juniors are doing like presentations where they have to like present and defend the schools that are on their wish list that they plan to apply to next year. And I looked on one kid, his presentation, and he had the Deep on there like twice. And I had to call him out in front of the whole class. I'm like, hey, you realize this is a sellout rapist, right? Like, I just want to just put that in the zeitgeist. So I had to shame him from take that shit off. But go ahead, Frank.
Good for you.
I couldn't let that slide. I'm sorry.
You may have saved that kid's future, bro. That's wild. The Deep is a man with no army, man. He has no friends in the sea. He has no friends on land. He's literally a guy who is his whole life has been based on approval. He's not as violent as Homelander in that way, but he seeks approval. This undying loyalty to Homelander, and just to show people that he is a somebody. And that one thing that he lived for, that one thing that he put everything on the line for, was a membership of the seven. That's one of the highest honors in the land, to be one of the seven heroes who are in that group. I mean, people live to be, they fought years, they trained, parents have put V in these kids because they want them to get the highest honor, which is the seven. I mean, in season 1, we saw Annie and what her mother was willing to do, try to get her in the seven. So that's all Deep knows, and I think in season 2, when he gets kicked out and like he's trying to work his way back, he's a laughingstock. Like, he has gills in his rib cage. Like, he's a freak. And the seven represented everything for him. It represented status. It represented, that he was a somebody. And it was the one shield. It was one shield that protected him, that protected his ego, because he has a fragile ego. And the man survived. HR violations. Sexual assault, all of that. And the seven was in our be all. So with Homelander now disbanding that, it's I wouldn't be surprised if and I'm not trying to be funny, but if there's a John Lennon moment here, and he becomes one of the guys that tries to stay Homelander, because Homelander now has taken everything away from him. Like that fan with John Lennon back in 1980, I think it was 1981. I wouldn't be surprised if he's part of that faction of now taking down Homelander, because he has nothing to live for now. Everything he lived for was for Homelander, and that loyalty is now gone. So,
yeah, but to me, like, just like Ashley, like, I feel like he doesn't deserve any kind of redemption. Like, he deserves to be killed by the aquatic life.
Samuel L. Jackson?
Right. Yeah, Brittany, go ahead and talk about that.
I swear to God, I'm, because this episode for me just wasn't really hitting. I find myself on my phone while watching this episode, right? Which is not really a great sign for me when watching anything. So I'm on my phone. Deep is having like, poor me. And then you hear this other voice, this other character come into play, and it's this hammerhead, right? Shark. And It's like, hey, Xander. We previously were introduced to Xander in the season or earlier, when Deep was looking for A-Train, I believe, off the coast of France. And we never heard Xander speak up until this moment. And as you're hearing Xander speak and talk to Deep and encourage him to, hey, get in the water, get in the water, get in the water. You start hearing motherfucker come out of him. And I'm just like, oh, this is Samuel L. Jackson. Like, they actually got him to do a voice, which I think was awesome. Come to find out, of course, that Samuel L. Jackson's a fan of the show and was very happy to take part in it and what have you. So, shout out to Kripke and his team for making that happen. It's still not a saving grace, but hey, you did the damn thing. So good for you. Because if there's one person in the world that can say motherfucker like no other, it's Samuel L. Jackson. So yeah, but basically Xander has threatened Deep to the point where you get in the water, you're not coming out ever. Yeah.
Which is why later on there's a guy drowning. And there are people that are there. They're like, oh, the Lord of the Seven Seas, save him, save my grandpa or whatever, my dad. And then he doesn't go in the water because he's afraid. So great moment for the Deep to be.
I'm gonna be real. When he was by the beach and somebody was like, hey, he's drowning. I thought it was like a setup from like the aquatic community. It was like, oh,
that's good.
That is, I was like, man, they are fucking ruthless. They were like,
it's like, go save my pop.
Yeah, pop. That's what they said. Yeah,
pop. I'm like, not pop.
Yeah,
they were like, we were going to fuck you up.
Yeah, but he cowered, and it all was caught on video. So, yep. And it's just funny because Deep was like on the phone with, I guess, a rep. Hey, this is free publicity that we really need right now, and he just cowered away, as he does.
I think he ends up taking his own life, allowing the sea to take him under, or Starlight, full circle.
Fuck it. Noir is resurrected by Homelander, and Noir takes him out. Damn it. He flies out into the ocean.
Why is he resurrected by Homelander?
Because Homelander's God, damn it.
That goes to my next question too. I wonder, so do we see Marie again? Because she can resurrect people. And it makes me wonder, like, if she's around they keep Frenchie's body, does she have the power she has the power to resurrect people, because we saw it in season 1 of Gen V. So with her,
I don't think so. I think that's too big of a death to like undo. I don't think you can undo that death.
Also, I feel like he'd have to be like freshly dead versus like dead for a long period of time. I don't know. Just it makes sense in my head.
Yeah.
Listen to a podcast Eric Kripke was on over the weekend, and he kind of made it sound like the Gen V kids are not in the finale. So maybe they're on the periphery, but I don't think they're in the finale. I did want to point out with that Samuel L. Jackson voiceover, I thought it was just a person doing a Samuel L. Jackson impression. I didn't think it was like that spot on Samuel L. Jackson. Like I've watched it a couple times, and I'm like, it still sounds like an impression to me. It doesn't sound like the genuine.
Oh no! How
article.
dare you?
Yeah.
How dare you?
Well, it doesn't sound like he's like from one of his famous movies saying those lines. It just sounds. I don't know. I wasn't as big on that as maybe everybody else was. I mean, it's cool that he's in it, but I don't know. To me, it's funny because to me, this is like a perfect juxtaposition, because like later on in the episode, you have the scene where Homelander meets Jesus in this promo. And when the guy, it descends, I thought for sure the Jesus actor was going to be somebody famous. I was like, maybe it's like Brad Pitt or I don't know, somebody super famous. And it was just some guy. And I was like, I thought that was kind of weird. I was like, that should have been somebody famous. Like, I feel like 99% of the time when shows like this do that kind of stuff, it's going to be someone of note.
See, I disagree. Given the context of Homelander and wanting to be loved and be the focus of everything, it kind of seems appropriate that they would cast a no-name to be Jesus, to be like, hey, this guy, he's in the past, no one cares about him. It's all about Homelander. He is God. Accept him as your savior.
I understand that, but it's also the ridiculousness of the whole thing. Like,
no, I get that.
There's an extra layer, an extra step. I feel like they probably would have done most of the time, and maybe they couldn't acquire somebody that would work or whatever. So, we talked quite a bit about the soup side of the finale, or the penultimate episode. Let's talk about the boys' side of the penultimate episode. We get the Gen V kids obviously help out because they provide the information that Father's up to something at Vought Studios. So then you see Huey, Butcher, MM, and Starlight go to Vought Studios to investigate. This is where we get, a lot of stuff happens here. I do think that Tristan had a good point earlier about how, like, they keep breaking into these like Vought facilities or these Vought things very easily, it seems. I do think that maybe there's something to be said about how, despite maybe the perceived power that we have in this world, the perceived security that we have, maybe, things are a lot more lax than we would think they are. Maybe that's the way you can interpret it, but I do kind of agree. It did seem like it was kind of like an easy thing. In fact, it was so easy, I didn't even really think about it until Tristan brought it up a little bit ago. So, but go ahead.
You could say like they're stretched thin. I mean, they've obviously gotten rid of so many people. So many departments are being directed to, do Homelander's bidding with V1 and all these different projects and demands. You could say that. Like, I think that's a plausible excuse for it. But like, man, every episode, it's like, oh, we're going back to Vought this episode. Like, goddamn, is there a back door? There's a code that you have? Like, they don't change codes anymore.
I did like the line here where they go on, they're on the set of the show that features Eagle the Archer, which we saw him in season 3. I don't know, maybe season 2. I can't remember exactly. But he's working on his Vought Plus show, and he's not loving the dialogue. And the Worm character, which we've seen a couple times this season, is actually directing the episode. And he mentions that the Taylor Sheridan AI wrote the thing and does not take notes. But that was kind of funny. Like, again, I love all their like pop culture like references, and then the ability to kind of make fun of all forms of entertainment is always well done, in my opinion.
Butcher's Posh Spice rant.
Yeah.
That was a classic.
Yeah.
That was a classic.
Yeah. Huey wants to give up, and Butcher's like, think about Posh Spice. She had no talent. She wasn't featured on the hit song, but, she stuck with it. She did not give up, and look at her now. She's in a better shape than all of them. So,
yeah, miss, I come from a working class when my father drove a Rolls Royce. Okay.
My favorite Spice Girl, by the way, is
look. Listen, mine too. Okay, I had the little Barbie doll of her and Baby Spice, so I'm with you. I get it.
I like the redhead. I can't think of her name, but whatever her.
Ginger.
Of course, you would like her.
Yeah.
Gosh. So cliche.
We see the return of Joe Kessler here, which was a character from season 4, played by a supernatural favorite, Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Brittany, what'd you think about this scene where it's actually this psychic shapeshifter named Synapse, who is basically, we learned in season 4 that Kessler was this guy that Butcher worked with, or they were in the military together, or in the CIA together. Kessler was killed because of Butcher's decisions. And so now Kessler is kind of Butcher's inner voice. And this Synapse character kind of channels that in this scene with Huey and Butcher, who are being held captive.
Yeah, I honestly, Justin, I might have to toss it to Frank because or Tristan, because for me, I was just very confused with the whole idea of having the psychics. I mean, I guess yes, to be able to read the minds to see if people are actually truly with the cause.
That's the whole thing. That's
okay. Okay. But like for the purpose of this particular psychic with Huey and Butcher, sorry, I spaced out on his name. I wasn't quite understanding the point of channeling Kessler to tell Huey, like, hey, don't trust Butcher. Like, why would you care at this point? Like, if they're in it together and they're both gonna die by your hand or by Homelander, like, why would you go through this trouble of telling this whole story about how Butcher's just a really shit person? We already know that. Like, who cares at this point? I don't know. It didn't. I don't know. I get it. I guess it was an excuse, of course, to bring back Jeffrey Dean Morgan, which is great. I think he's a great actor and is a great scene partner with a lot of people. But it was, I don't know if it was necessary or not. Frank, I'm gonna toss that to you. What were your thoughts on this whole scene?
I thought it was weird too. I thought it was redundant. Like, Huey has been off Butcher for the better part of like the last 3 seasons. Like they've had moments of like clarity of like with the whole V1 thing and stuff, but like none of the boys trust Butcher. This is not a secret. This is pretty obvious. So the Kessler thing didn't make any sense to me. Now, what would have made sense to me was to have somebody who is deeply connected to Huey, like his ex-girlfriend or somebody like that, to where it will really affect him, because he doesn't know Kessler one way or the other. Like them saying that about Butcher going to war and what he did, that's just Butcher being on brand. Like, that's not surprising at all. I feel like that scene would have been more powerful.
Lenny.
Maybe Lenny, like somebody from that because Huey has heard Lenny's voice and like he's been compared to Lenny, off and on throughout the last couple of seasons. That would have made more sense to me than having Kessler in that scene.
Agreed.
Yeah, the choice of Kessler, I agree. I don't really totally get that, but I do like the point of what he's doing is, or the Synapse character, he is obviously trying to get information because Homelander wants to know where Sage is because he wants to get revenge on her first. And he also, at the same time, I think they also want to torture Butcher and Huey. And that's probably the reason why Kessler was chose as a way to torture Butcher. And then, I don't know. Again, I can't really explain that one as well, because it's just kind of like, well, we have Jeffrey Dean Morgan coming in for an episode. This is how we're going to use him. So I think that's probably mostly what it is. Yeah.
I just thought Jeffrey Dean Morgan was fucking amazing. Like, the redundancy of the scene, in that particular plot line, despite that, I just thought he was amazing. And I do like, I did think it was a slight, very, very, very slight kind of surprise that Butcher just kind of took it on the chin. It's like, yeah, everything he said is correct. Like, this is who I am. Right. And I think that's important as we transition to this finale, is that Butcher he's always had to accept who he was, the monster within. It's like, actually, it's not the monster within. He's just the monster at this point. Right. But he's been preaching to them that he has to be the monster in order to get this across the finish line. So like him not backing down from it and not denying it, just like, hey, no, I did that shit. This is me. I'll do the shit again. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we be parallels what needs to happen with Homelander. So again, odd choice to bring him back in that moment, but like I do think it did move Butcher's character, at least where we're going next week, this finale, a little bit, forward. So I didn't mind it, because again, I thought the performance was very good, and also I loved Butcher's response to it.
Yeah, I mean, Butcher, he is who he is. Go ahead, Frank.
If y'all really like Jeffrey Dean Morgan in this, y'all should watch Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Conquest and Invincible. He's just as brilliant, if not more brilliant.
I had someone say that to me recently. Yeah.
They do a side by side of Jeffrey Dean Morgan in the sound booth, like reciting those lines, those famous lines from a year ago. It's chilling. Like that motherfucker's cold.
Yeah.
Speaking of cold, Soldier Boy, the way he ends up, I assume he's cold. I don't know if he's actually in a deep freeze, but he wants nothing to do with Homelander. He's trying to get away. He's like, hey, I'm going to go to the Banana Republic or whatever. I'm getting out of here. He wants to leave. He doesn't want to be around Homelander because, as he says, you're too weird. You're no god. And I do, Brittany, there was a reference to Supernatural. Maybe you want to explain that when Homelander and Soldier Boy kind of going back and forth, Soldier Boy has a line that maybe you want to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, if you could actually tee up the line for me, because I don't have it right in front of me, but I will definitely point out.
Basically, he's talking about, Soldier Boy's talking about, hey, like, yeah, like I'm your dad, but like we're not going to be out in the yard throwing a baseball back and forth. We're not going to be fixing up the old Impala kind of bullshit.
That's it. That's a Supernatural reference. The Impala. If you know Supernatural, you know how much I can't think what year Impala it is, but the Impala was named Baby. It was Dean Winchester's heart and soul. Anything happened to that car, he would commit murder. He said so explicitly in one episode. So yeah, I just like the little throw in of, yes, you think the cliche, hey, we're going to catch a ball or what have you and fix up the old car, but to specifically say Impala was just too funny for me. So this was another one of those Leonardo DiCaprio from Wolf of Wall Street situation where it's like, right there. That's it. I got it. I got the reference.
Yeah, even though I only watched the first couple seasons of Supernatural, I got the reference right away. I think it's kind of cool how they continue to do that throughout these episodes. But here's where we get I guess Soldier Boy's in for this series at least because Homelander says, "Oh, you're free to go." But then as he walks past him, he gets him in a chokehold, chokes him out, and then we see later on he is in the stasis chamber in Homelander's room or whatever.
Question:
Go ahead.
Why is Soldier Boy just wearing underwear again only? Why does he have to be out of the suit? Why? And why is Homelander doing this? I'm very concerned.
Yeah, I can't explain. I think if you're in the suit, maybe you wouldn't think he was like in some kind of like frozen chamber. Again, I'm not sure if he's supposed to be frozen or not. I'm not really sure how it works, but
I don't know. Steve Rogers was in his suit under the ice, so
yeah.
Why? I'm not opposed to it. I'm just curious. Like, it is very questionable as to why Soldier Boy is always in a weird state with Homelander. It's like, did you fuck me? It's like, probably did. Probably did.
I don't know. Maybe so. Frank, what'd you think about? Obviously, I know you're not a fan of this move, but this is probably the end of Soldier Boy for this series. Give me your thoughts.
Yeah, just very anticlimactic, like all the other deaths and subdues of characters. It left a lot to be desired. I would love to see a father-son fight there. Like, again, Homelander is strong as fuck. I mean, not Homelander. Soldier Boy's strong as fuck. Like, they're both immortals. Like, to be put down from a sleeper chokehold is just weak and just a give up writing move by the writing team. Give me some action, bro. Like, this is wild. Like, I was just kind of like, really, this is more of this, more anticlimacticness. Like, I don't know. I just wish I would have saw more. Like, I was expecting something like, if this is gonna be a struggle, give me like what I saw with Bombsight and Soldier Boy in the episode before, them fighting off 1-on-1. That was entertaining to me. I just want more of that of this season. I'm just not getting that.
Yeah, I didn't think we were gonna see him fight because he's refused to fight his kid multiple times now. And I just don't see there's not enough time this season. Again, Soldier Boy, he's got his own journey going to continue on this other show. Again, I think he will wake up after all this is over. Maybe at the end of that series. I'm not sure how long that series plans to go, but that's my prediction. I was not surprised that he ended up in this situation. In fact, I said this 2 weeks ago that I thought he was going to end up. In fact, I still think there might be a chance that Homelander ends up in some kind of frozen place too, because why would you want to kill off the main character of the franchise? But in his case, I think he needs to die. Otherwise, I think that's kind of unsatisfying.
I just feel like somebody's choking you from behind. You're gonna fight back. Like, this is not like some human being choking. This is an immortal person.
Homelander, it's like Superman choking Captain America. Like, Captain America's a strong dude, but like Superman would slaughter him. You know what I mean? It's the same deal.
No, I think they're pretty even when it comes to power. The only thing that Homelander has is he has super speed and like laser eyes. But as far as strength, I don't think he's more stronger than him.
I'm not sure. I mean, I'm just going with the archetypes that they're using.
I mean, he's got V1 plus the compound V already in him. So does it potentially make him a little bit more so?
I mean, he's a future revision of what they did with Soldier Boy. So like they took it to the next step. He has more powers. He's more powerful, I would assume. Probably stronger. Yeah. Tristan, what did you think about Soldier Boy meeting his end here?
I mean, I definitely thought it was anticlimactic. I'll focus on like the dialogue before. Like, Soldier Boy, it's weird, this internal conflict. Like, he's clearly weirded out by Homelander. He's clearly disgusted by like who he is. Like, they could not be on more opposite sides of the spectrum as far as like who they are, what they stand for, what they value, what they care about, how they enjoy their time. Soldier Boy, I mean, all of these suits are maniacs in some type of way. Soldier Boy's maniac is like specific to a certain time period, right? Like, pretty much every other sentence that he says involves him talking about who he fucked back in the 60s or the 70s, whatever. It's like, hey, me and Sinatra did a line of coke, in the bathroom. Like, it's always tailored towards this particular era. But like, these are eras of like cool. Like, so as crazy as Soldier Boy can be, and again, this is not an altruistic figure. Like, there's a level of coolness about him that he can't see in Homelander. So like part of it is him wanting to get away from just get the fuck away. Like it's just too much shit happening. Like he obviously is not with the Homelander as God shit, but he's just not with the Homelander shit. Period. Like you as a guy, somebody I want to be around, chase women with. Like that's not. Again, they're clear juxtapositions of each other. And again, that hurts Homelander because Homelander has both mommy and daddy issues. He desperately needs the approval. He needs somebody to like bounce things off. He needs somebody to challenge him. He needs somebody to tell him how fucking weird he is. Like he needs those things. To him, that's love, right? So like Soldier Boy essentially trying to get on vacation away from him is another abandonment. It's another rejection of him. Yeah. He just can't take it, so he'll rather keep him essentially in a glass jar, like a pet, than deal with that rejection like any type of civilized, well-developed being would be, and he just can't do it.
Yeah, again, I think that all worked well. I mean, I get the thought of like, hey, we want to see these guys fight, but I think that we saw that in season 3. Obviously, Soldier Boy's doing this because of Stormfront, Liberty, Clara, whatever you want to call her, because of his devotion to her for whatever reason, which I assume will be explained in Vought Rising. We'll find out more about that. But I just never thought we were going to see like a big knockdown drag out between those two characters. So now we get to the big close of this episode where, Kimiko is willing to sacrifice herself, willing to make her, what the Russians did to Soldier Boy to give him the power to depower Soups by using uranium. We saw that Butcher was helping Frenchie with it. Then Frenchie then has to get the help of Sage. He has to kind of appeal to her. They have a talk about love where, she explains that love makes people unpredictable. And that's obviously why she made the mistake with trusting Soldier Boy, thinking he was going to be the answer to stopping Homelander, when in fact it was some kind of weird father-son thing, kind of love with the Clara character that again we don't know a ton about. And she explains they also bond over Love Island, which show that I have not watched, but apparently pretty popular even in the
I'm
boys
sure Frank
universe.
had some thoughts on that, because is that not a show that you watch?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was probably my favorite scene in the show. I love Island. Wholeheartedly agree with Frenchie. So
yeah, no, it is. I do think it was a small part of the episode, but I think an important part of the episode to kind of show, basically Frenchie explains to her like, hey, my love for Kimiko is worth doing all this, and I need your help. And like, without that, we're all gonna die. And unfortunately, he does die a little bit later on when Homelander arrives. Frenchie's able to hide Kimiko, who's in a weakened state, and they hide. Sage hides also. They hide in a zinc lined little like cabinet area, which Homelander cannot see through zinc, much like how Superman can't see through lead. So I did like that kind of parallel. Although I did think it was strange how Homelander saw the zinc area and he didn't investigate it, because it's like he can't see through it, but he could punch through it. He could rip it off the wall. So like I thought that was kind of like if you know that there's a certain metal you can't see through and you find that in a certain place specifically run by the people who've devoted their lives to trying to kill you, maybe you should investigate that, because he was looking for Sage.
Or maybe not, because you don't know if they planted something in there that could meet your end. So, err on the side of caution, I suppose. Yeah. But fuck that guy. Yeah, for Frenchie to, hide in the uranium chamber and just lightly tap his finger on the door frame, and then wham bam, Homelander's there. It's a parallel to kind of how we first saw the interaction between Frenchie and Homelander in season 1, where Frenchie had planned a big explosion in a building far, far away to distract Homelander from what they were doing presently, to get him out of their vicinity and then move forward with whatever the plan there was at the time. So yeah, it was kind of poetic how they first met and then how they kind of end, right? I don't know. I wanted to feel more regarding Frenchie's death, but I just didn't. Don't know why. I mean, albeit for love and what have you. It's just, I think what it is just the themes of this season's storyline has just kind of flipped back and forth, because before it was very like, it's about the virus. It's about, getting it out there. We're going to kill all the soups once the virus is out there. And then, yes, they lost the doctor. Okay. Frenchie was somehow able to maybe possibly replicate it. We're not entirely sure. Probably there's not enough batch to pursue the virus. And so we pivot to something else. And I think it's just too much pivoting that kind of just, for me at least, was very jarring. And I'm like, I just don't care anymore. But then once you realize that the mastermind behind a lot of these operations that the boys have worked on is Frenchie's, and you lose him, it's like, okay, well, shit, like, really, now what are they going to do? And then, of course, Kimiko is just beside herself because Frenchie finally tells her, hey, your plans of one day having a house with kids and a Bernadoodle, we can go to Marseille. And he's saying all these things as she's, in a very weakened state and before Homelander arrives. And then he tells her, I love you in French. And he says from the first, and then he dies. And it's like, oh, like that's just sad.
Yeah.
It is sad. I was feeling a little something, but I'm like,
yeah,
I'm desensitized to a lot of these things right now.
So Tristan, you talked about moments earlier and how you didn't really see any moments in this episode. I feel like this was the moment in the episode. Frenchie's death is the thing that if you're going to remember anything from the first 7 episodes, or specifically the 7th episode, it's this moment.
I will remember more him experimenting on Kimiko and her like forcing him to continue to go on. Like I felt like that was a great representation of the love that they share for each other. Her wanted to continue to progress on, so like they can complete this mission, this almost impossible mission. Like that showed a deep amount of love. The issue with Frenchie's death to me is just like there's so much stuff going on in these episodes. There's just so many things to get to, like that it didn't just get the proper weight that I felt like it deserved. Obviously, Frenchie dies off screen, and then it's the classic. Oh, he's on the floor. They find him and crawl to him, start crying. Like I feel like that might have been a little bit stronger if we saw the death.
We did see the death. We didn't see how Homelander did it though. We saw him die. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Same point. Point remains. Like, but again, it's just that's indicative of a larger thing. Like, again, there's so many things happening in this episode. So many things happen around these scenes that you would just want I would want more time to let that scene breathe. Yeah. Right. For the comic bookers, like apparently, like those last words come straight from the comic book. From the first, whatever, like give that a little bit more time to breathe. Again, take some time away from the butt sniffing. And
that is a quick scene though. That's like a 2.
No, that was far too long for a quick scene.
Go back and watch it and look at the time.
No, I don't want to. I'm good.
It's not that long.
After what I've been dealing with my dog for the last few days, I'm fine.
However long that scene took, devote that time to more Frenchie and Kimiko in those last moments and just kind of give it just a little bit more weight, a little bit more breathing room. But it was a moment, obviously somebody in there had to die. Like him sacrificing himself to draw Homelander's attention. Homelander has a one-track mind. He knew he was signing his death warrant. And he just wanted to, inflict as much pain on Homelander as he could. It just sets up for the finale, like, hey, let's not let this all be in vain. Yeah, like his death, the sacrifices they've made. It was a moment. It could have been a bigger moment, and I don't want to harp too much on what it could be because it was a pretty sweet moment. A character that we've loved for 5 seasons now. A relationship arc that we've seen go through so many trials and tribulations to get to this point. Like, definitely want to honor that. But like so much of the season, I'm left kind of wondering, like, man, if we devoted a little more time to this could have been a bigger moment, which is my just larger macro point about this season.
Yeah, no, I agree with I think the moment could have been more, but I was thinking about, like, thinking back on this show, how many deaths in this series have had any breathing room at all? They've all been super quick, super shocking. I mean, this one wasn't maybe shocking, but like, I can't think of one where I was like, oh, they gave it a proper amount of time. It's usually somebody gets their head smashed, somebody gets run through.
I mean,
there's always
A-Train kind of.
He probably had the best one, right?
And they gave him a funeral, so you kind of had time to kind of let that breathe.
How many deaths are shocking in this season, though?
That noir one caught me. Not gonna lie.
I mean,
you can see the tension building there. Like, one of those dudes are going to kill each other.
Yeah, but I didn't think he was going to snap like that and then use his own fucking dagger to, stab him up under his chin.
Yeah. Frank, your thoughts on Frenchie's death?
I didn't feel anything to it. I thought it was to do it off screen. I mean, you're trying to convey that this Homelander is this god and he's more vicious than ever, right? So portray that on air, on screen, and let him be vicious. Let him like, to me, it will be more crushing to see Frenchie suffer. From what I've read, like, it was a very gruesome scene, but you don't show it. Like, I think you take away from like what Homelander is. I think that's conveyed better, and it kind of puts together and indoctrinates Homelander as this newfound villain with his newfound power, and he has angst against the boys. Like, it's one thing like he's crushing some random civilian's head. He hates the boys. So show that.
Yeah.
Like, show that angst that he has for anybody that's around Butcher. And I thought we was going to get that. And I mean, to me, the death was more dramatic in the comic books. I mean, it was different, but it was way more dramatic than what I like. After reading the comics. This shit was like, bro, this is minor leagues, bro. This is not. I'm not gonna remember this 5 years from now. Like I did with the comics. It wasn't an iconic death. It was a death for the home team, but it doesn't resonate with me as far as me remembering this for the next 3 or 4 years.
But it was a death where, Homelander could crush him, crush his head, rip his spine from his body. No question about that. But the way he was killed to where he wasn't totally dead when people who cared about him, who loved him, were around him. It's like, it's more torturous for him, like for Homelander to stick his finger all the way through his stomach or whatever. Like, that's going to kill him. It's going to kill him slowly, though. It's more torturous. It's more evil than it is for him just to snap his neck.
But just show that, though. That's all I'm saying. Like, everything you're saying,
right,
would have been so much better if I was able to see it. And because I wasn't able to see it, I can't.
Yeah.
Do I hate Homelander? Of course. I mean, I think any sane person watching the show does not fuck with Homelander. But do you really want to drive home to the point that people hate Homelander? Show that scene, and then it really ratchets up a few notches of the hate towards Homelander, because that's the goal. Like, this season, they're trying to gear up this like Trump-like figure and this dictator. Show it, play up to it, and I didn't get that. So to me, it was kind of unsatisfying not seeing that done on screen.
But also, to not show it, you kind of play it up like maybe he'll survive. Like maybe he didn't kill him. No, I mean, seriously, that's why.
If that didn't kill him, then the
against Homelander? No.
Well, I mean, Homelander, he doesn't kill everyone. He could kill everyone if he wanted to.
He only doesn't kill people who treat him like a human being, like who's nice to him. That's why he didn't kill Legend or whatever the fuck his name was. He wasn't afraid of him. He just let him go.
The way he killed Frenchie was to kind of send a message. You know what I mean? Like, it's more, like I said, it's more torturous to kill him that way than it is to like rip his spine out and leave it as decoration.
Yeah, but you were saying that he could have chosen not to kill him. It's like, no, he was going to fucking kill him.
But the way the show plays it, when you see Frenchie and he's still like what he's standing or he stumbles to the ground or what, I can't remember exactly, but like he's still alive. So you're kind of given a kind of a hope spot of like, oh, maybe he's going to survive.
No, maybe you did, but I for sure did not.
I didn't get that either because
not at all. The amount of
'cause
blood,
even-
he was dragging himself on the floor, holding
He
his
was
stomach.
poisoned
No.
as well from that toxic
Yeah.
fume that was in the air. Like he was
exactly.
He was fucked
He was
from the
fucked.
word go. Yeah,
He was
I
fucked.
didn't get the vibe he was gonna survive that.
Well, I didn't really either, but like the way they play it, like it's for drama, you know, like it's a TV show. Like it's not
No,
like,
Justin.
Yeah.
No.
Gotcha. Okay. Let's go to the finale predictions. I guess Brittany, you start off. What do you think's going to happen in the finale?
Well, I don't think at all what's showcased in this poster is going to happen. I really don't think it's going to, the boys and them are all going to be at the White House and it's destroyed and all these other soups are backing up Homelander. I don't think that at all. I think this is just false advertisement, bait and switch. I really don't think this is going to happen. Deep will die. That much I'm pretty confident about. How? Probably by Homelander, to be truthfully honest. And people are gonna die. That's pretty much all I got. I don't think still anyone's gonna make it out alive. I'll be genuinely surprised for anybody to make it out alive. I don't know how the world moves on from this because we've talked about this before and people can disagree and that's okay. Why introduce all these storylines if they're not going to be fulfilled? Like we still haven't, I've seen previews of course for this series finale. So yes, we're going to get some characters that have been missing for the majority of the season will come back, but to what capacity, right? What happens to Stan Edgar? No one probably fucking cares about him at this point, but it's like, why bring him back if you're not going to show what happens to him, right? What's going to happen to VOD International as a whole? You know, Sage, what's her end game? Like what's going to happen at this point? Really, it's just like, just kill off everybody. Just kill them. Who cares?
Okay. Tristan, your thoughts on the finale or what, like predictions, I guess.
I think they found a way to absolve Homelander of his powers. And I think I think him
He
and
said
Butcher,
absolve.
remove his powers. I think Butcher also loses his power. I think they have like their first man-to-man like real fight without the compound V in either one of their systems. I just think it's like New World Order. Like this, there has to be a new world, right? You have to rebuild the world and its dependencies on soups and I think there's a reckoning about like just celebrity culture, like that they bred this love for soups and like this dependency on them. Everything like the government, the way cities are run, police officers, like all this shit needs to change. So I think part of me thinks that the finale ends with like, hey, we're in a world with no soups at all. Like, period.
Yeah.
Like we've done something like the virus. This virus has to like be something. This virus has been like a major plot line of this season. Yeah. It has to have some type of effect. So I think soups lose their power. Some soups die because of it. Some survive, but this has to come down to, you know, Homelander versus Butcher and them going at it. I think they both die in some type of way. That's my like very basic reading of what the finale might be. I'm sure there'll be some type of curveball. I think Starlight kills the Deep, or he drowns in, you know, because a bunch of fish and manatees or some shit pull him under. That's what I think. I feel like honestly none of this shit is going to happen, but I feel like that's the logical ending that I probably won't get.
Well, we'll see. Frank, your predictions.
I have no fucking clue. I'm not even gonna lie to you, bro. I don't know where the show's going. I guess the virus depowers everybody.
No, the virus kills people. Like
the virus.
Yeah.
I feel like they're gonna work an antidote to where Kimiko's ability to depower people, I feel like they're gonna try to replicate that to where they depower Homelander. And I think a worse thing than death for Homelander is to be a regular guy and to be in prison or to be a forgotten nobody at this at the end of the series. Well, there's a flash forward and he's in an old man's home and he is just there as a thing of the past. To me, that would be more punishable than death because he craves to be revered. That's what he loves. He wants to be revered as well as feared. And I think to treat him as any regular guy in captivity, I think will be a worse than death for him. So that's my prediction.
Yeah, I mean that's a good call because he might end up just a regular guy behind bars or something. Who knows? First off, I think the poster is really cool. It shows Homelander hovering above the White House. You've got Butcher on the White House lawn with his trademark crowbar heading to take on Homelander. I think the virus will be made airborne. I think that's Butcher will put that. I don't know. Maybe Starlight helps out with that. I don't know how they're going to do that, but they're going to make it airborne. A lot of soups are going to die, and they're going to have this one big battle. Homelander and Butcher will fight using their powers. Kimiko will then depower both of them. Maybe not purposely on Butcher, but she'll use the power that she was given in the penultimate episode to depower them. It comes down to Butcher and Homelander just as men, and I think they both die, and that's it. But I don't think everyone dies. I think there will be. I think Huey's going to survive. I think Starlight might survive. Sage, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's going to happen with Sage. Either Sage gets killed in the first 5 minutes, or I think she finds a way to survive. Not really sure about that character. But yeah, I think that kind of wraps it up. I mean, that's who knows. I mean, Ryan is probably. I mean, he's in the trailer for this episode, so he's going to be in it. I'm not sure what role he's going to play. I mean, maybe he's the one who makes the virus airborne. Because he obviously knows what Homelander can do, considering the beating he took from Homelander early in the season. So maybe he decides to sacrifice himself because of his mom. He's like, hey, we got to do this for my mom. Maybe he does that deed to get the ball rolling in that direction. And yeah.
Yeah, but will it impact him because he's a natural born soup?
Well, it might not. That's why we got to watch. That's why they play the games, Brittany. That's why they play the games. And I, for one, I'm looking forward to the finale. I've loved this show throughout. Can't wait to see how it ends. And we will be back next week to wrap it up. The final episode of The Boys is titled Blood and Bone, which it's from a quote from Butcher where he says, "We need to end the whole bloody notion of soups. Go scorched earth, shock and awe, blood and bone. Superheroes are done." So we shall see if those are prophetic words next week. So now you know what we thought about the penultimate episode of The Boys, episode 39 overall of the series. We want to know what you thought about it. And Brittany, how can people let us know?
Well, as always, we invite everyone to join us for our live chats. Real quick, Justin, we actually had someone in the live chat earlier who said, I hear they renamed the finale to Speed Through It. I don't know if that's just a joke or not, because the majority of us have some thoughts about this series. But anyway, so yeah. But again, we appreciate those who have taken the time out of their day to join us during our live stream, even if you didn't participate in the live chat. But we do invite everyone to continue to be here with us, participate in the live chat. And if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button. That way we can grow our audience and help other people come find us and talk about all the things that we enjoy. Don't forget to hit the like button and hit that notification bell for the next time we go live, which, Justin, will be this week for a very special presentation from Marvel.
Yeah, The Punisher, One Last Kill. We'll be talking about that on Wednesday. So yeah, check out that pod also.
Yep, and while you're at it, go ahead and check out all of our social media links you can find in the description box down below. And lastly, check out our audio podcast available to you on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Give us a follow and give us a 5-star rating.
Thank you, Brittany. I appreciate it. So for Brittany and for Tristan and for Frank, I'm Justin saying thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We will see you next time. Have a good night. Bye-bye.